This agenda starts with education. Whether you are conservative or liberal, Republican or Democrat, practically every economist agrees that in this digital age, a highly skilled, highly educated workforce will be the key, not only to individual opportunity, but to the overall success of our economy as well. We cannot be satisfied until every child in America, and I mean every child, has the same chances for a good education that we all want for our own children. Every child. Every child. That means a child in the inner city, a child in the barrio in South Texas, a child on the reservation in South Dakota, a child in the hills of Appalachia. And yet, despite this consensus, despite the fact that we know education is the key, we continue to fail to deliver. You know, a few years ago, I visited a high school outside of Chicago. The number one concern I heard from those students was that the school district couldn't afford to keep teachers for a full day. School let out at 1:30 every afternoon. That cut out critical classes like science and labs and foreign languages. Now imagine that. These kids wanted more school. Think about that. They knew they were being shortchanged. But unfortunately, stories like this can be found across America. Only 20% of students are prepared to take college classes in English and math and science. We have one of the highest dropout rates of any industrialized country, and barely 1/10 of our low-income students will graduate from college. And that will cripple their ability to keep pace in this global economy and compromise our ability to compete as a nation. Now, Senator McCain doesn't talk about education much. I don't know what his education policy is. But I can tell you this, I don't accept the status quo. It is morally unacceptable, and it is economically untenable. It is time to make a historic commitment to education, a real commitment that will require new resources and new reforms. We can start by investing $10 billion to guarantee access to quality, affordable, early childhood education for every child in America. Every dollar we spend on these programs puts our children on a path to success while saving as much as $10 in reduced health care costs and crime and welfare later on. That's what will close the achievement gap, giving every child a good start. We can fix the failures of No Child Left Behind while focusing on accountability. And that means providing the funding that was promised. Bush left the money behind for No Child Left Behind. We've got to adequately fund these proposals. More importantly, it means reaching high standards, but not by relying on a single high-stakes standardized test that distorts how teachers teach. I believe in high standards, but I don't want our children to be learning to a test. I want them learning art and music and science and literature and all the things that make an education well-rounded. So we need to work with governors, educators, and especially teachers to develop better assessment tools that effectively measure student achievement and encourage the kind of research and the scientific investigation and problem solving that our children will need to compete. We need to recruit an army of new teachers. The baby boomers are starting to retire. We need more teachers. And I will make this pledge as your president. If you commit your life to teaching, America will pay for your college education. We will recruit teachers in math and science and deploy them to understaffed school districts in our inner cities and rural America. We'll expand mentoring programs that pair experienced teachers with new recruits. And when our teachers succeed, I won't just talk about how great they are. I will reward their greatness with better pay and more support. Now, here's the thing, though. Research shows that more money alone won't create the schools that we need to help our children succeed. We also need to encourage innovation by adopting curricula and changing the school calendar to the needs of the 21st century, by updating the schools of education that produce most of our teachers, by welcoming charter schools within the public school system, streamlining the certification process for engineers or business people who want to shift careers and teach. And we also have to challenge the system that prevents us from promoting and rewarding excellence in teaching. We can't ask our teachers to perform the impossible, to teach poorly prepared children with inadequate resources, and then punish them when teachers perform poorly on a standardized test. That's not fair. But if we give teachers the resources they need, if we pay them more and give them time for professional development, if they are given ownership over the design of better assessment tools and a creative curriculum, if we shape reforms with teachers rather than imposing changes on teachers, then it's fair to expect better results. And where there are teachers who are still struggling and underperforming after we've made these changes, we should provide them with individual help and support. And if they're still underperforming after that, we should find a quick and fair way to put another teacher in that classroom. Our teachers deserve no less. Our children deserve no less. Let me say one more thing about education, though. Teachers alone, government alone can't do it. Parents are going to have to step up. Parents need to turn off the television set and put away the video games and read to your child. Parents have to instill a thirst for educational excellence in our children. Finally, our commitment cannot end with a high school degree. The chance to get a college education must not be a privilege of the few. It should be a birthright of every single American. Senator McCain is campaigning on a plan to give more tax breaks to corporations. I want to give tax breaks to more young people. In the form of an annual $4,000 tuition credit every student, every year, that will cover 2/3 of the tuition of an average public college and make community college completely free in America. In return, I will ask students to serve, whether it's by teaching or joining the Peace Corps or working in your community. And for those who serve in our military, we will cover all of your tuition with an even more generous 21st century GI Bill. John McCain opposes giving our GIs a better deal. I think it's the right thing to do, because the idea is simple. America will invest in you, and you invest in America. That's how we are going to march this country forward. That's how we'll ensure that America succeeds in the 21st century.